Hello and welcome back to our Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky 1 playthrough. In our last episode, we finished all the jobs that Dad had bequeathed to us when he went off on his little priority mission. And the chunk of Sepith that we had rescued from the mine and given to the mayor got stolen by Josette, the Imperial Guard, disguising herself as a pretty little schoolgirl. We managed to get it back from her, but she escaped thanks to her little friend in a giant airship. So we were a little bit miffed about that, but when we went back to Rolent to report, we got the troubling news that the airship that our father was on has gone missing. And so we now pick up in the main part of the story. Joshua asks Estelle, "Are you in there?" Estelle asks, "Joshua?" Joshua says, "Dinner's ready. Just to let you know, we'll be having roasted basil chicken and onion soup gratin." Estelle says, "That sounds so good. I'll come down later, so why don't you go on ahead and eat?" Joshua nods. "All right. Well, make sure to come down before your food gets cold." Scherezade says, "The Wheel of Fortune card, again. Something really is going on. I just can't see what it is." Where's Estelle? Joshua replies, "She said to go ahead and eat without her. She didn't seem to have an appetite." Scherezade says, "I see. She took the news a lot better than I thought she would." Joshua says, "It's not surprising she doesn't want to come out of her room, seeing as how close she is with her father." Scherezade nods. "I agree." Joshua asks, "So what do you think about all of this, Shera? Is it an accident or an incident?" Scherezade says, "To be honest, I couldn't say either way. Your dad is a top-class bracer. When it comes to crisis management, he's the best there is. Whichever it is, if your father happens to be there, it'll be resolved. But the fact is, an airliner, along with your father, has gone missing." Joshua says, "In other words, what you're trying to say is that things that shouldn't have happened, right?" Scherezade says, "Don't lose heart on me now. You need to be a stout wall of support and bear Estelle up. I'll get to work tomorrow and see what I can find out." Estelle says, "Man, it sure smells good down here. I can't stand it any longer." Joshua asks, "What?" Scherezade asks, "Estelle, are you okay?" Estelle says, "I'm so hungry I thought I was going to pass out. Oh, this looks so good." Bon appetit! Aren't you two having any? This is great. The basil flavour really comes out when you roast it. You sure know how to cook, Joshua. Joshua stammers, "Well, thanks." Estelle says, "Come on, Shera. Don't you just sit there too. Do you want to drink some of my dad's brandy from his secret stash? I'm pretty sure there's a bottle of Steinrose that's about 20 years old in there." Scherezade asks, "Did you say Steinrose? And 20 years old too?" Joshua asks, "Shera, what do you think you're doing?" Scherezade sighs. "Sorry, Estelle, I'm going to have to pass this time. By the way, what were you doing up in your room? You didn't come down even after Joshua called you for supper." Estelle says, "Huh? Oh, right. I was just looking for some extra underwear. I was having a bit of trouble finding one of my favourites because it was stuffed in the back of one of the drawers." Joshua stammers, "Underwear?" Estelle says, "Oh, and a set of gear for travelling. I mean, who knows how long we'll be gone, so I figure as long as we're prepared, we'll have nothing to worry about." Joshua says, Scherezade says, "So what you're saying is, you intend to head to Bose to find your father?" Estelle says, "Well, duh, that's a no-brainer. And while I can't imagine anything bad happened to him despite his horrible luck, waiting around just doesn't suit me, so I'm going to go check things out for myself." Sorry about that. Joshua laughs. "You really are something else. Whether it's your positive attitude or thick skin, I can't say, but..." Estelle sighs. "Why, you're so rude, Joshua. But you are coming along too, right?" Joshua nods. "Of course. However, it looks like all airliner flights have been cancelled until the army finishes their search. It seems like the only way to Bose is on foot." Estelle asks, "Walk to Bose, huh? I wonder how long that's going to take." Scherezade says, "For a bracer on foot, if they hurry, they can make it there in about half a day. But if that's the route you're taking, that makes things easy. I think I'll tag along as well." Estelle asks, "Really? You'll come with us? But aren't you busy with a bunch of other jobs?" Scherezade says, "Hey, I trained under your father, right? Did you honestly think I'd just sit here when something could have happened to the person I owe so much to? I'm going to talk to Aina and have her pass my jobs at the guild to another member." Estelle says, "Shera." Joshua says, "We really appreciate this, Shera." Scherezade says, "You really shouldn't be thanking me. I just can't leave a job as big as this up to a bunch of newbies." Estelle scowls. "I hate to say it, but you're probably right. Oh well, since Shera's coming along for the ride now, I do feel a bit more confident." Joshua nods. "We appreciate you coming with us." Scherezade says, "Ha, myself as well. Anyway, let's make sure to drop by the guild tomorrow morning before we leave. I'll need to explain the situation to Aina." Chapter 1. The Disappearance of the Linda. Aina says, "I understand the situation now. To be frank though, with Scherezade taking off after Cassius, I'm going to be really short-handed. But since this involves him directly, please don't worry about anything." Scherezade says, "I really appreciate this, Aina. Make good use of Ridge while we're gone. He should be able to deal with at least 3 times his normal workload." Estelle asks, "Don't you think that's a bit harsh?" Aina says, "Don't worry. If things get too hectic, I'll ask for help from the Gransel branch. By the way, Scherezade, can I get a minute? I'd like to talk with you about the job you're going to do." Scherezade nods. "Sure, not a problem." Estelle, Joshua, could I have you two wait upstairs? I'll be done in a minute." Joshua nods. "Understood." Estelle asks, Shera, if we're going to be waiting, would you mind if we did it out in front of the clock tower? I'd like to say hi to someone. Scherezade says, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, then let's meet up in front of the clock tower. As soon as I'm done here, I'll head over there myself. Estelle nods. Got it. Come on, Joshua. Joshua says, sure. Septian calendar 1075, erected in partnership with the Lebel royal family, Septian Church and Rolette City. Septian calendar 1192, destroyed during the 100 Days' War when Rolette was bombarded by the Erebonian Imperial Army. Septian calendar 1197, rebuilt with the cooperation of the citizens of Rolette. Joshua says, every time I see this clock tower, I always think they sure did a superb job restoring it after the war. You can sure feel the spirit of Roland's people from this. Estelle says, Joshua, what do you think about going up with me and waiting until Shera shows up? Joshua asks, you mean the clock tower? Sure, I don't mind. Estelle smiles. Okay, come on. Estelle says, the morning air is so refreshing. Hey look, Joshua, you can see the house from here. Joshua says, you're right, I can see the roof. But do you want to tell me what's going on, since you've always avoided coming up here? I was under the impression that you didn't like this place. Estelle says, I like this place, but I just can't casually come up here, because this is the place where my mum died. Joshua asks, what? Estelle says, 10 years ago during the war, when the Imperial Army surrounded Rolette, they bombarded the symbol of the city, the clock tower, to try to get the citizens to surrender. This was at the time Dad was fighting in the Royal Army. I wanted to see who he was fighting against, so I climbed up the clock tower, and when the bombardment started, I couldn't get away. When I came to, I hardly had a scratch on me. My mother had saved me. I was wrapped tightly in her arms, shielded from the rubble. And as I cried, she sang my favourite lullaby. But when they finally dug us free, after the war ended and this place had been rebuilt, I avoided coming here for the most part. It's not because I have painful memories of this place though. It's just, when I come here, a part of me wants so much to draw on her strength. Plus, I felt that I can't be strong like her if I'm always trying to rely on her. Joshua says, Estelle says, but today is okay, right? Relying on her just this once. Asking her to bring Dad home safely. Asking her to protect him. Joshua nods. Of course it is. And don't worry, Dad's safe for sure. Your mother's protecting him, so there's no doubt in my mind that he's safe. And if he happens to be in a bit of trouble, then you can come to his rescue. Just like your mother did for you, you can do the same for your dad. And don't forget, I'm here to help you too. Estelle says, Joshua. Joshua says, I know I can't completely understand everything you've been through, but I can stay here by your side as I am now. And if you need a shoulder to cry on, you've always got mine. So... Estelle laughs. Joshua says, huh? Estelle laughs. Joshua, you're trying too hard. You shouldn't say things like that so lightly. Joshua asks, what do you mean? Estelle says, if I were any other girl, I would totally have misinterpreted your intentions just now. You are seriously the type who's going to have problems with romantic relationships in the future. I'm already starting to get worried. Joshua growls, well, excuse me for trying to be nice. Why do you have to be like that when someone is genuinely worried about you? Estelle blushes. Thanks for cheering me up, Joshua. I feel a lot better now. Joshua says, I guess as long as I get some kind of thanks, it was worth looking like a complete fool. But you are unbelievable. And mutters a tirade. Estelle grins. Don't be so mad. I'm really thankful, believe it or not. So how about we get down from here, huh? I'm sure Scherezade is waiting for us. Joshua nods. You're probably right. Estelle whispers to the heavens, Mum, I finally realised why I wanted to become a bracer. It's so I could become strong and protect others, just like you. So please watch and see. I won't fail to bring Dad home safe again. Scherezade says, "Aw, the two of you had such a cute scene going on up there. Why, my cheeks even feel a bit hot just thinking about it." Joshua asks, "What's that supposed to mean? You were spying on us?" Scherezade says, "Give me some credit, will you? I just happened to see you when I looked up to check the time. I sure wish I had an normal camera to get a shot of that view." Joshua sighs, "Come on." Estelle asks, "What are you trying to say, Shera? It's called family bonding, plain and simple. It's kind of like your habit of hugging everyone after your third bottle of wine." Joshua sighs, "Let's not get into that." Estelle asks, what is with the sigh? Scherezade asks, "You really don't know how to take a joke, do you?" "Well, whatever. Did you say hi to Lena while you were up there?" Estelle nods. "Yeah. I even asked for her to watch over Dad." Scherezade says, "I see. Then I guess it looks like you're all set. You know, Lena's protection is equal to that of the goddess herself. Your dad's safety is pretty much guaranteed." Estelle blushes. "I think you may be giving her a little too much credit." Joshua says, "Now that you mention it, you met Estelle's mother before, right, Shera?" Scherezade says, "Yeah, when I was a child. I was still in the troop at the time." Joshua asks, "A troop?" Estelle nods. "Yeah, a troop in a travelling circus. Shera was a dancer. Although it was a long time ago, we first met when she came to relent with the circus." Scherezade says, 12 years ago to be exact. I was 11 and Estelle was 4. And because of that chance encounter, when I became a bracer, I trained under your father." Joshua says, "I didn't know that." Scherezade replies, maybe I'll tell you about it sometime when I get a chance. Are you about ready to head out for Bose? With airliner flights cancelled, we'll just have to make our way to Bose the old-fashioned way, by foot. First, we'll need to make our way to the Verte Bridge checkpoint, which sits on the border of the Bose region. Joshua says the Verte Bridge is located at the west end of the Milch Main Road. Estelle says it looks like we're all set, so let's go. West. The west end of the Milch Main Road. Now, do we check to see if we can take on the cats in this, the Gaelic cats in this chest? Monsters appeared. Oh no. There are just a few of them, aren't there? Oh, Estelle. No one wants to hit. Sorry about that. How? 'Think we got him. I think we got him. 5 HP left.
Piece of cake.
Well, that's a... yes. That's a fair bit. And we found a topaz talisman. You open the empty chest and stare inside. The chest stares back accusingly. Anyway, let's... I'm fairly sure we should be able to open something up. With that little injection of fire, Sibith. So, let's see who we can do what to. Okay, we can open slot 3 for Joshua. Can open slot 4 for Estelle. Ooh. 80s for Scherezade. So Estelle has 3. Joshua has 2. We're going to open Joshua's 3rd slot. Yes, we're going to trade a few barrage and space and some earth sipiths for some more monies. Before we go that way, let's see if there's anything more we can purchase. Some pasta. Okay, we're going to buy all of these to learn them. Then go to find them in here. And we learned the recipe. Nice. Lovely. You don't have anything new, do you, Mr. Elder? You do not. Oh, Labelle News Issue 2. The airliner Linda has vanished. Best take one of you. I honestly have never heard of kibbled salt before. But, whatever. Anyway, let's, first of all, we need to insert for Joshua, don't we? I am going to put dexterity in view and pray that increases your chance to hit as well. It must do. Alright, onto the road. We're heading west. Okay, the Verte Bridge checkpoint. Private Scott says, "Hello there, are you headed for Bose?" Estelle nods. "We are, but how did you know we weren't just visiting again?" Private Scott replies, "Well, a number of people just like yourselves have been passing through lately, exponentially more than usual." Joshua asks, "Is that because flights have been suspended in the airspace over Bose?" Private Scott nods. "That's exactly what happened. You wouldn't believe how busy this place is because of it." Scherezade says, "Well, the Royal Army is responsible for all the restricted flights, so you're really not in a position to complain." Private Scott nods. "Yeah, I guess you're right about that." Oh, and another thing, traffic through this checkpoint is also being regulated. If you want to go through here, you'll have to get a pass from the Chief Warrant Officer next door. Estelle says, "Okay." Music sort of reminds me of General Leo's camp just before Kefka turns the river purple. Sorry about that. Chief Warrant Officer Ashton says, "Well, if it isn't Estelle and Joshua too." Estelle says, "Hello, Mr. Ashton." Ashton asks, "And this is Scherezade, if I remember correctly, right?" Scherezade says, "Good afternoon, sir. We'd like to cross over into the Bose region, so we were wondering about getting a pass." Ashton says, "Let me guess, this has something to do with the Linda, doesn't it?" Estelle nods, "Yeah." Estelle explains that Cassius was aboard the missing airliner. Ashton gasps, "Goodness, Cassius was aboard. This is major. I'll issue you a pass right away." We received a gate pass. Estelle grins, "Thank you, sir. But is it alright if you issue us a pass just like this?" Ashton asks, "What are you talking about? I know you kids by face. And as a member of the Royal Army, I should do my best to cooperate with the Bracers Guild." "Oh, but one other thing." Estelle asks, "Huh?" Ashton says, "Be careful if you have any errands at the Harken Gate north of here. You might want to hide your identities as Bracers there." Joshua asks, "What do you mean?" Ashton says, sorry once again, Ashton says, "I'm sorry, but I can't say any more about the matter. But if you do intend to investigate the incident, please do so with discretion. I pray to Aidos for Cassius' safe return." Well, we'd best get a move on. Sorry, could you please let the gate down? Estelle says, "All right, we got one." We handed over the gate pass. Private Scott says, well, that was quick. Okay then, how about I open the gate for you? The soldier opens the gate by remote control. Private Scott says, alright, you're clear to go on through. Once you cross over, you won't be able to come back unless you get a pass from the other side. Please be aware of that before you cross. Estelle nods. Got it. Well, let's cross. Private Antose says, hi, are you headed to Bose? We are currently in a state of emergency. We are looking for any suspicious individuals amongst those heading from Bose to Relent. That's problematic, I'd say. Private Lacos says, the Ison Road, which runs north off the East Bose Highway, is blockaded right now. For those heading to the north border, they'll have to go to Bose first and then wait until the road reopens. Well, it appears we must go to Bose. Unless we can... Warrant Officer Dine. What do we have here this time? Braces? Travelling the roads on foot is a bit of a hassle, isn't it? Well, be careful out there. Just going to rest up. And continue on. To Bose we go. On the East Bose High Road. No monsters? Oh, a monster. Oh. Tentacles. A mad roper. A tentacle monster that wafts through the air, divides after being wounded, and it is weak to both fire and wind. Well, you have airstrike, so as well. And fire on you.
That's that then. Let's move out.
Okay. So we want them if we want wind and water Sepith. Oh, what are you? You are a Halo Mole. A monster inhabiting hard bedrock. Its massive claws boast of incredible strength, and it is weak to water and fire.
That's that then. Let's move out.
We've got a flaky potato and a monster carapace. Oh, hello. You're just sitting there. I'm getting the feeling that you might be a bracer quest, so I'll just leave you there. North. Nibble Valley. A man with silver hair and a very long sword wouldn't be there by any chance, would he? Dressed all in black? Oop, he divided.
Seems you came up short.
Don't know. Well, there is a logical explanation for it, but Scherazade's voice actor sounds remarkably similar to the original Jessie of Team Rocket. Which would make sense if she was the voice of the original Jessie of Team Rocket. Prepare for trouble!
Seems you came up short.
Estelle asks, "What's that headed this way?" Grant says, "Well, if it isn't Scherezade, how have you been?" Scherezade replies, "Fine. I haven't seen you in a while either. What are you up to?" Grant says, "As you can see, I'm doing an escort job. I'm sure that you've heard all about the airliners being grounded after the Linda incident, right? Because of that, we have to move all this cargo to the Royal City by ground transport." Scherezade says, "I see. Well, your efforts are appreciated." Grant asks, "So how about yourself? What are you doing with these youngsters? Don't tell me you're looking into the incident." Scherezade nods. "That was the plan. Why? Do you know something we should be aware of?" Grant replies, "Well, I think it would be best if you spoke with Lugran about it at the Bose branch. Anyway, I've got to get going. Catch you later." Estelle says, "First Mr. Ashton and now him. Everyone keeps hinting at something, but no one will just come out and say it. I wonder what's up." Joshua replies, "Well, there must be a good reason for it, and we'll probably find our answers at the Bose branch." Scherezade nods. "Agreed. If we do as he suggests and asks Lugran about it, we may just get a clue as to what's going on. Anyway, let's get moving." What are you? It's Ekans! No, it's not Ekans. It's Arbok. It's Arbok. A mushroom snake. A monster inhabiting woodlands. Hunts with its poisonous fangs. May call for backup. And it is weak for water. Nice. Oh, there's another Arbok. Oh, there's two of them. Okay. Well, Joshua does seem to be hitting more often since getting that Sepith quartz junk. Since junctioning that materia. And Estelle and Joshua leveled up. You.
All right, we rule.
One wonders why we're only getting one of these at a time.
All right, we're good to go.
Yeah, remember how we were struggling to get wind Sepith at the start of the game, and now we're struggling to get fire? It's oh, hello. Mechanical jellyfish? Wisdom. Wisdom, a floating monster from the Bose region, extremely dangerous, uses powerful arts, and it is ever so slightly weak to fire. But that won't matter, as we will.
Let's do this!
Use our limit breaks.
Someone's been naughty. Here I come. Piece of cake.
Got a few fires. Okay. That's fine.
Piece of cake.
We got another flaky potato and some clear gelatine. This is a bit of a walk to Bose, isn't it? Okay. North Harkin Gate, 210 yards. West Bose, East Verte Bridge. And just like that, we've made it to Costa del Sol. Scherezade says, "We finally made it here. This is the commercial city of Bose, which sits at the heart of the Bose region." Estelle gasps, "Wow, this definitely looks like a city." Joshua says, "Of the 5 major cities in Labelle, this one comes next after the royal city. Compared to Roulette, the buildings are all made of stone and seem a lot bigger." Estelle asks, "Does anyone have any idea what that huge building is over there?" Scherezade replies, "That's the Bose market. It's an indoor marketplace made up of various shops. Food, clothing, sundry goods, furniture, books, and so on. You can pretty much buy everything here with the exception of weapons and ornaments." Estelle says, "It's not surprising that they call this place a commercial city. Man, I really wish this trip could have been for shopping." Joshua sighs, "Maybe some other time. Let's first stop by the guild and find out what's going on regarding the incident." Estelle says, "Oh, alright." Scherezade says, "Just so you know, the Bracer Guild is just right over there." Sorry, madam. Elegia says, "I wonder what I'll buy today. I hope I can find some kind of outfit that I like." The Anti-Rose Restaurant. Okay. Hello, sir. Manager Lecter. Good day to you and welcome to the Anti-Rose. Do you have a reservation? Do we need a reservation? Estelle says, nope. Is this a restaurant then? Manager Lecter says, "'Tis as you say, yes. I am the manager, Lecter. I tend to the restaurant's needs while the owner is away. Herein, the best quality ingredients and servers await you, amounting to the greatest dining experience of your life. I personally guarantee that if you partake of our delicacies, you will emerge full and satisfied. Please come this way. I will gladly show you to a table." Joshua says, "Wow, this guy's got a lot of confidence in his restaurant, and I must admit, it certainly does look like a nice place." Estelle replies, "Yeah, but he's a bit pushy, don't you think? I mean, when I see this place, my first thought is, cha-ching! We'd go broke if we ate here." Scherezade laughs. "It's not cheap, that's for certain. If one wished to stay for a full-course dinner, let's see. It would require the bounty from 30 large monsters, at minimum, to gather enough mira." Estelle gasps, "Yow, yeah, not for me, thanks. At that price, I'll gladly go street vendor. Deep-fried pom on a stick, poms in a blanket." And even a special guest thing out the back. There's the Bracers Guild. And we know that that's the shopping centre. North Bose Chapel. That's the Bose Mayor's residence. Sorry about that. Let's try Kershey's bar instead. We ate a cheese risotto and learned its recipe. And what else do you have, sir? Mouthful soup, which heals 300 HP and cures mute. A jaw-dropping, shockingly flavourful soup. And the red tail soup, which heals 250 HP and cures seal. A spicy soup crammed full of energising nutrients. Well, we will learn the recipes for these. I am going to take a look in the market. I know that Scherezade said that there were no ordnance stations in here or weapons, but actually I think we'll go out and do the guild first before we come back in, because that looks like Dorothy, the dinosaur. Legrand says, "Oh, Scherezade, you arrived a lot sooner than I expected. I appreciate you coming all the way from Relent." Scherezade says, "It's been a while, hasn't it, Legrand? Did someone tell you that we were coming ahead of time?" Legrand replies, "Yes, I received a call from Aina not that long ago. So that means these two kids with you are Cassius's children?" Scherezade nods. "Yes, that's right." Estelle says, "It's nice to meet you, sir. I'm Estelle Bright." Joshua says, "And I'm Joshua Bright. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance." Legrand says, "I'm Legrand, and I oversee the Bose branch. Your father and I go way back. And please, just call me Legrand." "And you look something like a hobo." Estelle says, "Sure, we'll do that. That said, could you give us a quick update on the missing airliner incident?" Legrand replies, "Yes, about that. The Royal Army is still continuing its search. However, with the Army's current restriction on information, no public updates of the situation have been made. And not only has the general public been kept in the dark, but the Guild hasn't heard a word either." Estelle gasps, "Really? Why not? Aren't the Army and the Guild supposed to be cooperating together?" Scherezade says, "Well, that's the way it is on the surface anyway. But in actuality, there's a lot of opposition between both parties on a number of aspects." Joshua asks, "So pretty much what you're saying is that it's a bunch of jurisdictional disputes, right?" Legrand nods. "I hate to admit it, but that's the situation. In addition, General Morgan has gotten involved." Scherezade asks, "Did you just say General Morgan? Great. Now it really looks like things are going to be a pain." Estelle asks, "General Morgan? Who's that?" Joshua replies, "He's famous for repelling the Imperial Army's invasion 10 years ago. You should have read about him in the history books." Estelle says, Amazingly enough, I don't recall the name. So what's the big deal with this famous guy anyway?" Scherezade says, "From what I've heard, he's not the biggest fan of the Bracers Guild. Hates Bracers, in fact. It seems he even makes it a point to routinely assert that there's no need for a Bracers Guild." Estelle humphs. "Sounds like a real whack job to me. So what you're saying is that we're not getting any information because of this general?" Legrand says that's not really important at the moment. What really matters is that Bracers are being prohibited from entering regions they're investigating, and because of that, it's causing conflicts with our other work. Estelle stammers, but we just came all the way here from Relent. If that's the way it's going to be, then it's time to duel it out with this general to decide who gets to investigate the incident. Joshua sighs. You're talking like a crazy person, Estelle. Legrand says, keep your cool, Bracer. There are other ways, such as the request we just received from the mayor concerning the incident. She has asked that we conduct an investigation from the guild side, separate from the army. Scherezade says, well, that's encouraging news. If it's an official request from the mayor, it'll be a great pretext for us to conduct our own investigation. Estelle says, I see. Well, isn't this perfect timing? Legrand, we'll accept the mayor's request. Legrand says, that sounds fine by me. But before you go, you two are junior bracers, right? Estelle nods, yeah, why? Legrand says, junior bracers, so to speak, are members in training registered at various branches. In short, their performance is monitored by the branch where they're currently registered. And right now, for you two, that would be Relent. Estelle says, so what you're trying to say is that... Joshua continues, we have to change our registration if we want to accept jobs here, right? Legrand nods. You've got it. Here, all you need to do is sign on these forms to transfer your registration. Estelle says, sure. Joshua says, our names go here, and... Estelle and Joshua filled out the registration transfer forms. Legrand says, all right, it looks like everything is in order. Junior Bracers, Estelle and Joshua. As of this day, at 15:20, your registration at the Bose branch has been approved. This means that you are now members of the Bose branch. Scherezade says, so you know, once you become a senior bracer, you can do any job without being registered to a particular branch. But on the flip side, your duties and responsibilities increase as well. Joshua nods. Understood. Estelle sighs. So pretty much we're still newbies? Legrand says, well, it looks like now I'll be able to entrust you with the mayor's request. The mayor's residence is near the west gate. You should go there and talk to her directly. Estelle nods. We'll do that. Joshua says, understood. Well, let's see what jobs we have available to us. Revenue Monster. A ferocious monster has been sighted along the trail behind Revenue Village. It must be sought out and exterminated ASAP. For details, please see me in the village, the person being Elder Ryson for 1500 Mira. The Ingredient Seeker. Gwen for 800 Mira with a low difficulty. I'm in a bind right now as I seem to be lacking a certain cooking ingredient I regularly use for practice. Please bring 5 tender poultry to me, Gwen, at the Anti-Rose restaurant. The East Bose Monster. Okay, off the Bracers Guild. Earns 1,000 Mira. Medium difficulty. A ferocious monster known as a King Scorpion has been spotted roving the East Bose Highway. Bracers from this branch are requested to deal with this threat immediately, and that will be the Scorpion that I didn't terminate before. Now, before we go to the mayor, let's see how many... We have 5 tender poultry to our name, so we can give to Gwen at the Anti-Rose restaurant. Now, who is Gwen? Are you Gwen? Gwen? No, you're Lenore. Welcome, welcome, says Lenore. Here for a good meal, so please let me show you to a table. Right, this must be the kitchens then. Citron says, I am a sommelier here. If you have any questions or concerns regarding wine, I'll be more than happy to address them for you. You can't be Gwen, you're a dude. Head Chef Ross. To a chef, each and every day is lived in pursuit of flavour. When the flavour stops, it's time to put the kitchen knife down once and for all. One must never be satisfied. Recipes must never stop evolving. Like a good Pokemon. Complacency disqualifies you as a chef. A complacent chef is no chef at all, far as I'm concerned. Estelle says, this guy's pretty intense. It's kind of scaring me. Joshua nods. Yeah, he has the eyes of a pro. A really skilled, really psycho sort of pro. Gwen. Hello, Gwen. Gwen says, yes, can I help you? Estelle says, hello. We're here with the Bracers Guild and we have a delivery. And we handed over our 5 tender poultry. Gwen says, oh, thank you so much for going to all the trouble. I'm sure you must have been busy with your other work. Estelle says, it was no problem at all. Helping those in need is what our job as bracers is all about. Scherezade nods. Yes, it's just like Estelle said. And now the airline is at a standstill. It's a difficult time for all of us. Gwen says, I really appreciate you saying that. But the little bit of mirror I'm paying just doesn't seem like enough. Oh, I know. Please, let me do this for you too. Estelle asks, huh? Do what? Gwen replies, I'll teach you how to make my specialty omelettes. Estelle asks, you mean the ones served here at the Anti-Rose? Gwen replies, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Estelle asks, is it okay for you to be giving out your recipes like that? Gwen laughs, don't worry, it's not a problem. Even if you make a dish just like the recipe says, it doesn't mean that you'll get the same taste. Scherezade says, sounds like you've got a lot of confidence in your cooking. Gwen replies, remember, it's not about whether you're good or bad. It's like the relationship between a musician and a sheet of music. Depending on the person, the song will sound different, even though the music is exactly the same. Estelle says, that's pretty profound. Gwen replies, a recipe in the end is nothing more than a framework to make something delicious. Only by following the rules, you'd be surprised at how many different ways the end flavour turns out. And we have learnt the Liberal omelette recipe. Estelle says, score! We'll have to give this a try later on. Sorry once again. Joshua says, Estelle, now this is just a little pre-cooking advice, so don't take it the wrong way, but please read the recipe before you try it. Estelle pouts, how rude! What are you trying to say, that I'm the worst cook ever? Joshua sighs, then make sure you measure how much seasoning you put in. A pinch of salt doesn't mean that you should drop a fistful in there, you know. Sorry yet again. Estelle says, I'll show you a fistful. Gwen says, well, following the setup of any recipe is important, but enjoying what you cook comes first. Surprisingly, that's probably the best framework for any recipe. Estelle says, see? Now that's what I'm talking about. I totally agree. And thanks for the new recipe. Gwen says, my pleasure. Come and enjoy a bite to eat here every once in a while too. Yay, we completed the Ingredient Seeker quest. Right. Now I think we will go hunting for that scorpion. Then he was a fair way back along the road, wasn't he? Oops. Though it did say that he does tend to patrol, so he may be anywhere. Ow.
That's that then. Let's move!
Okay, we have queen scorpions, which are large multi-legged arthropods with paralyzing toxin in the barb of their tails, which are weak to wind. And the king scorpion, which is a large multi-legged arthropod with a very potent poison in the barb of its tail, which is weak to earth. So, we're going to wind you, we're going to stone you, and we're going to wind you. Okay, I'm going to have to leave it here for today. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. We hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you in the next episode when I hopefully remember to just head straight forward into the mayor's house.